Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, welcome. In the new Farm Bill, there is a key bipartisan compromise that I was proud to spearhead with Congressman David Scott that protects dairy farmers as well as restaurants, food processors, grocery stores, and consumers. This amendment formed the framework for the dairy title of the Farm Bill and was designed to provide our nation's dairy producers with a viable safety net without supply management or new administrative burdens. And it was supported by more than 140 diverse groups, and 291 members of the House voted for it. In implementing the regulations, as I understand it, they restrict individuals with significant ownership interest in one dairy from establishing ownership in a new dairy and gaining eligibility. Could you please confirm the ability of a dairy farmer to expand his dairy production capacity through new farm operations and maintain eligibility in the MPP?
I think we are still in the process of working on precisely how that can be done, and we've solicited input from the producers in terms of how we navigate the ability to expand against the assurance that the program will not be misused. And we're still in the process of formulating a final determination, a decision about that. It's not in an effort to try to avoid expansion, but it is, we have to be sensitive, obviously, to making sure that folks don't take advantage of the system when it's inappropriate.
Well, we certainly understand that, but we also want to encourage having an abundant supply of milk, both for use here at home and for export, and would encourage you to take an open-minded approach to not replacing one form of supply management with another. So thank you. I would also like to switch gears and talk about demand management. And that is, I am not from Iowa, as you are, and my friend Mr. King is. I'm from a district where my livestock producing farmers do not have demand management on the chickens and turkeys and beef cattle and dairy products that they produce. Therefore, I'm concerned about the continued growth of the consumption of corn under the Renewable Fuel Standard. According to the Congressional Budget Office, if implemented, the heightened 2017 RFS requirements would increase the amount of total U.S. food expenditures by $3.5 billion in just that 1 year, and it's going to continue to accelerate and get worse in years where there is a shortage of corn production, and in years down the road when you get closer to 2022, when the requirement is that we produce 36 billion gallons of ethanol a year, this problem is only going to get worse. So I would like to ask if you would let us know how the Department of Agriculture is working with the EPA and impacted livestock producers to ameliorate the costs of what I consider to be, an increasing number of Americans consider to be, unworkable RFS standards that seems to pit one sector of U.S. agriculture against another.
Well, you and I are going to have to respectfully disagree about this, Congressman.
We always have. I don't know.
I'm sure that you're not surprised by that. And the reason why I feel as strongly as I do on the other side of this is because of the productivity of American agriculture. Corn production has increased significantly. I remember practicing law in 1975 with my father-in-law and doing income tax returns, and producers were planting in my state about 16,000, 17,000 seeds per acre. Today, those very same producers on that very same land are actually utilizing somewhere between 30 and 40,000 seeds per acre. The technology has allowed us to grow more. So in terms of the percentage of corn that's being used for production of feed and food and exports, that hasn't changed. The excess is basically going into production of ethanol. Secondly, when ethanol is produced, it's not just ethanol, it's also co-products and byproducts, as you well know. And the DDGs are a feed supplement that's pretty significant and represent roughly a third of everything that goes in to the ethanol production. And then finally, we're obviously gravitating away from an over-reliance on corn towards corn stover, towards woody biomass, towards perennial grasses. And there are plants now that are up and running and working towards commercial-sized operations where you're not going to have...
Mr. Secretary, reclaiming my time, which is running out, I don't disagree with the ability to produce fuel from a wide variety of sources. And certainly from non-productive sources today, that would be a good thing. But that's been the promise for a long, long time. In the meantime, there are growing concerns by consumer groups, hunger organizations, environmental organizations, as well as those of us who traditionally believe in free market agriculture, to make sure that our corn crop is not manipulated in the way it is by an artificial government policy. So I understand your disagreement, and I understand that you are, as Mr. King noted, from Iowa, the capital of ethanol production, but I will just note that it doesn't sell as well in the hinterlands of many other parts of American agriculture or the American economy in general.
Gentleman's time has expired.